I'd like to reschedule my appointment for Thursday.
Of course, we have openings Thursday at 10 and 2.
Can we do 10?
Great, I'll make that change for you now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Digital Leader Show, where we talk key issues and news at the intersection of business and technology in hopes of making you a better digital leader. Hosted by Dan Goodstein and AI, a professional association, media and peer research network, providing education, networking and advice to over 130,000 global members on automation, enterprise AI, and digital transformation. We're live Wednesdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on LinkedIn and YouTube, and the audio recording is available wherever you get your podcasts. And now, here's your host, Dan Goodstein.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Digital Leader Show. Today, we're discussing Dialed In with AI, Vibe Customer Service, and the new rules of CX with Dialpad co-founder Brian Peterson, plus headlines for digital leaders from the world of enterprise technology. Thanks to our sponsor, Dialpad. Dialpad's a leading AI-powered customer communication platform, transforming how businesses communicate with their customers. More than 50,000 companies use Dialpad across the globe, including Netflix, Remax, Uber, Randstad, and Tractor Supply. All rely on Dialpad to build stronger customer connections using real-time AI-driven insights. You can get more information at dialpad.com. And I'm joined today by the co-founder and CTO of Dialpad, Brian Peterson. Brian, welcome to the show.
Hey Dan. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Thanks for being here. So first things first, for people that don't know Dialpad, I remember, I'm dating myself here a little bit. I remember Dialpad as like a VoIP soft phone kind of provider. Yes? Is that where it started?
There was a original Dialpad Communications. That was one of the first VoIP companies. That's actually not us, although we do have some people who used to be there. But it's actually, yeah, so it gets confusing because that was a company kind of the .com era. They got bought by Yahoo, and we did have some people there. But yeah, it's brand new now. But we are AI customer communications. So we do everything for your full contact center, all channels with AI for everything. So we do full automation. We do live coaching, which a lot of people don't know. We've been doing that for 7 years now. Things like automatically detecting questions, giving answers proactively for agents. And then we do a lot of stuff on analysis of your conversations with your customers. So like one of our favorite features is AI customer satisfaction with 90% accuracy. It analyzes all of your conversations, the millions and millions of minutes you probably can't listen to, and tells you like, are your customers happy? What are they happy about? If they're not happy, what are they not happy about? And so a lot of our customers are using that for churn indicators, so they know which customers to pay attention to. But basically, it's the entire thing end-to-end, full self-service automation with agentic AI agents, but also with everything you need to run and talk to humans as well on all channels. So that's pretty much it for, yeah.
Lots there. I mean, it's a very exciting space, and my sense is, it's getting more and more exciting, yet also turbulent, or maybe even scary for people that are trying to implement this technology. As we talked about before we went on the air, the AI and the transformation in the CX space is not new, but it's certainly amped up a bit over the last couple of years with Gen AI. So what do you think of when you think of kind of AI and agentic and some of the things that you guys are doing? Where do you see the opportunity, over the next kind of 12, 18 months?
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing that everyone talks about right now, and it's everywhere. It went from AI to now being agentic. So so everyone's talking about that. Everyone's website was saying something AI. Now it's saying agentic, and the difference is like we went from, a lot of our stuff has been around live coaching, analysis of your conversations. The next phase is going to be automating these conversations, self-service with agentic AI. And the biggest thing with agentic AI, if people don't know, is just it now can take actions for you. So before it'd be a lot of, hey, you're calling in, what do you want to do? Who do you want to talk to? Press 1, press 2 for this. And now and that was it. You get routed to a human, and most of the time it's the human doing the work. The next thing you're going to see over the next 12 to 18 months is going to be, there's probably not going to be any press 1, press 2. It's going to be talk to an AI assistant who's going to be able to do a lot of what the human agent would have been able to do. And people freak out a little bit about this, but this is going to be better for everyone. Not just for the companies trying to save money, but it's better for the customers too, which is what I'm most excited about, because you now can get your problem solved faster, where you don't have to stay on hold for 10 minutes, 20 minutes to then go talk to someone and then, and then have them handle it, or them transfer you to someone else and then repeat yourself. You're going to be able to talk to someone with a human conversation, have a human conversation like interaction, but then it's actually going to be able to do things for you. So, ship things for you, change account status, anything you can imagine someone can do with a computer, these agents will be able to do, these AI agents. And just as an example, we have one customer who does thousands and thousands of just password reset conversations with humans a month. Thousands. It's just to reset their password. Yeah. Just to reset their password. So they're calling in, waiting on hold to then change their password or figure out they forgot their password. They need a new one. They need to get into their account. So these are the things that shouldn't be done by humans in the first place. They should have been done. This should be all automated. And I think that's what you're going to see. You're going to see all of this stuff that's super repetitive, super trivial, and even some of the more advanced stuff where it's multiple steps of actions are going to now be automated.
So, it's easy to be the consumer and complain about the experience being, difficult, or going through all those menus that you mentioned, press 1, press 2. But it's not quite as simple as we'd like it to be, right? Why is it like this? Why has it always been this way?
Yeah. So our background, just to give some context on this, was we were the Google Voice team. So we built Google Voice back at Google to tens of millions of customers, but it was consumer focused. And at that time, not that long ago, that was the most advanced things you could do, like route calls, have everything online, have desktop apps that would sync with your CRM, and like that wasn't even that long ago where the technology was just good enough for that stuff. But then even from there, you ended up with people building different pieces of customer communications. And so one, they're mostly human connections. So, but the software hasn't been great. So it's great. They can take a conversation, they can take a call, they can take a text interaction, but the rest of it hasn't been great. So what happens is, for a consumer, is you've all done this, we've all done this. You go to the website and you start chatting with some really bad bot. And then you're like, I want to talk to someone. I can't figure this out. What? Please give me to a human, because this is so bad. And then what happens? You get to the human and they're like, what's your problem?
Yeah.
Like, I just talked for 20 minutes to your, like, why doesn't your system know what I just had a 20-minute conversation about? Why do I have to repeat it and give you my information and authenticate myself again? It's because they're all different systems. And they're all different systems because, one, it was really hard to build something that's like all together in one. That's something that we knew right when we started Dialpad, that this is something that hadn't been solved yet. No one had really solved full customer communications with every aspect in one system. We say it's like single pane of glass for us. You get, like, when it goes from the the AI agent to the human sees exactly that conversation. They're pre-authenticated. It summarizes what they just talked about. So like they don't have to repeat themselves. And of course, that's better for us as customers because we get our problem solved faster and aren't as furious.
I remember having an argument with, I should say an argument. I mean, they're customers. Customers always right? But I remember having this debate with, with customers way before, really even AI. But it was the beginning of chatbots and kind of intelligence and some of that stuff. And I remember these guys telling me that, people want to talk to people, and I always maintain that it's not that they want to talk to people. It's that they want their issue resolved quickly, and their perception is that the quickest way to do that is to speak to a person. But we're kind of at the point now where that's not the case anymore, right?
Yeah, and it's because it was broken, just like you're exactly right. It's because it was broken before. They remember I send an email, I get response back in 2 days, and then I respond again, or it's a chat, some really bad chat on a website where I'm not getting anything accomplished. So then of course they're frustrated and they want to talk to the human because the human's the one that had to solve their problem before. And that is changing. The technology now, and it's not easy, but the technology now with this agentic AI, these virtual like AI agents, they are so much smarter than they were before. They understand what you're saying. They can do things that you couldn't do before accurately and safely. So even if you wanted to do some of these actions before, it wouldn't be safe enough because the AI wouldn't be good enough at doing them, or it'd break. So the second you throw a curveball at it, it's like can't compute, don't know how to do this one exact flow. So here's a human. The technology is now caught up that you can make it one sound really human, be very responsive, so fast too, not just hey, I need to do this, da da da, and it's like sitting there like do for seconds, and then it's just taking forever. The technology is caught up to be super fast and super accurate. But that being said, we believe I obsess over AI and the future of AI. I'm not someone who believes that there's going to be full AGI. So like AI does everything humans could ever do, at least not known and many, many, many years away. You're still going to need the human conversations for a decent percentage of your conversations. The difference though is instead of it being reset password, it's like going to be like real good conversations, like a really important customer who needs a personal touch, who's been escalated, or a really important sales conversation because you get all this extra, and then they get the human touch, but then those people aren't busy dealing with stuff that should be automated. Yeah. So I think that's like, but you are going to see a lot more of that, and then customers are going to be happy because they get their problem solved faster. It's like win-win.
So the obvious question though is, you're not going to need as many people, right? I mean, if AI does the initial, they used to refer to it as kind of like tier 1, tier 2, I don't know, still do, but that initial triage, the password resets, that kind of stuff, and then the really complicated stuff is ultimately escalated to a human. I mean, first of all, is that the model that you see playing out? And then, if so, what happens to that workforce now?
Yeah, that's a very, very interesting topic. That's very common now. Is AI going to replace everyone? The first part is yes, for doing customer service, for outbound sales, you will probably not need as many people. I'm not someone who thinks jobs are going to go away, though. I'm not in that camp. To me, it's the same thing as when cloud came out and we started Dialpad with a lot fewer people than my co-founder's previous company because we didn't need as many because the cloud helped us do a lot of things that were possible with fewer people. But that didn't reduce the amount of jobs. Like we were at an all-time job rate, for many years after the cloud was supposed to disrupt even, all the people you need in tech. And to me, you just see that things evolve. And what we don't know when these evolutions happen is humans should be doing more complex things. And what ends up happening is, and we see this as a lot of our companies, yeah, there might not be as many tier one customer service people, but now they are able to hire other people or those same type of personas to work on more important things at their company. Like, and that's what I just keep saying is I just keep seeing new roles pop up. Every time a new technology comes out, it turns out that new jobs come out of that too. So I don't think AI is replacing. If anything, it's just making us go faster. Just like the cloud did, it's just making innovation better. And if you don't innovate, then your competitor's innovating and they're not reducing their spend. If you are a successful growing company, you're not going to reduce your spend because you need to grow even faster because your competition isn't reducing their spend. They're going to grow faster too. So yes, for customer service, for sure, you won't need as many, but as far as like the big doomsday or jobs going away, I don't see it. I think it's just more stuff is coming out, new types of jobs, more important stuff that humans can actually work on that were super trivial before. Just like when the calculator came out or like the computer came out, people thought a lot of these people were done, and like no, just jobs evolved.
Yeah. Yeah, we've always told the story. There's the ATM story that when ATMs came out, it actually created more jobs for tellers because there were more branches, more banks, and they needed more jobs as a result. So that's usually the story I tell people. But you said something interesting. You alluded to something interesting. Sales. Talking about sales.
Yeah.
Contact center. I've always been frustrated that contact center always seems to be a cost center within an organization. They don't necessarily see it as a revenue center. And there's more and more opportunities, I think, for organizations in this space to actually turn the channel into a sales channel, right? I mean, you're getting a customer on the phone, which is very hard to do. You're solving a problem for them. I was in a situation a couple of years ago. It was I think I've told this story on the show before. It was actually GoDaddy, right? I called because I have a problem. And they actually have a pretty good view of me as a customer, and they did a good job of solving that problem. But when they finished solving that problem, they said, "Hey, I'm noticing this and I'm noticing that." And I went from complaining to getting a bill on my credit card, but it saved me time. It was a good experience, and I've told that story probably a dozen times, which is more and more, I think, going to be a thing, right? I mean, as a lot of this stuff becomes commoditized, CX becomes the differentiator. No.
This has always been a thing of like, oh, well, this is a cost center, and I think even with legacy technology, people were missing out or not really reading it right, because exactly what you said is these, not just can you upsell them, cross sell, whatever it is, you can with these connected systems, and that's a lot of what Dialpad is we sell to companies who put their entire sales outbound team, inbound team, and their customer support team all through Dialpad. They're constantly they're constantly going from a customer support conversation and then adding the salesperson onto the call, or even being coached. That's like, you can basically be asynchronously coached by the sales team while you're on a customer support call without even listening in, just by typing, following the transcription. So there is so much opportunity for there. And then it reminds me of the data. A lot of people forget that the data coming into your contact center is pure gold. And what I mean by that is such valuable information. If you think about it, for businesses, businesses analyze their email, they analyze all this other data, but the one thing they've always been missing is analyzing their conversations with customers, especially voice conversations. And you couldn't get access to those because there's no way any human could listen to that many conversations a month on a large call center and then get any insight out of it. And so that's like the combination of, you can come in, have your problem solved quicker, you're a happier customer, which also means you will churn less. So when your customer support is better and their problems solved, they churn less too. And a lot of people forget that. Like, when you're a growing company, especially in SaaS or anything, churn is just as important as new sales. Because
the cost of acquisition is so high, right?
Leaving.
Yeah.
And so just alone, if you have better customer service, and you probably know as anyone that customer service is a lot of reasons why people would leave a company if it's bad. Like that's another thing too. And then and then analyze the conversations. One of the things we figured out by even using our own product is you can find out what things customers like and don't like about your product by using our AI. Our AI CSAT automatically identifies what is going well and what is not going well according to your customers in aggregate. So it's not just hey, I sampled a random call and this one customer complained. You can actually see, no, we have a large percentage of our customers complaining about the same thing. You now go fix that. You've just solved a massive problem. Like, so yeah, it is. People underestimate how important really amazing customer service is, and that it is a rocket ship for everything.
Yeah, I personally believe it's unpopular, I think, but I personally believe that brand loyalty is at an all-time low. It's very easy to transition. You can open a bank account in 30 seconds online now if you have a bad experience with your bank, right? So I think CX is the only real difference. I mean, of course, there's some minor, you bank from one bank to another bank, there's some minor differences, but at the end of the day, you're going to do what is the better experience for you. It makes you, as a consumer, it makes your life easier. As a business owner, it makes your business easier. And you hit on something. I'm always amazed at, you make these phone calls, these customer service phone calls, and then you get the survey, please stay on for the survey, or we're going to email you a survey or whatever. And it's amazing to me how many surveys I've taken and not gotten a single follow-up. Yeah. I'm like, if I have, and I'll beat up on Amex. I have like 11 Amex cards, had terrible situations with them over the last year, whatever. And every time I do, I purposely say certain things that I think should be like trigger words, like I'm closing my accounts, I'm calling up Chase, things that you would think would get a response, and nothing. Like why, okay, maybe I'm not the most important customer, but I would love to think that, if you're really a high-end customer, if you're, an investment bank customer and you're a high net worth person, I'd like to think that your experience will be different than, some of the other, average customer, right? Because they should know that. And there should be certain things where you, to your point, not only analyzing that, we talked about sentiment analysis and stuff like that, but can you actually, create a really high touch, white glove type of service with the people that are still in the contact center, and make customers feel appreciated, right? After a bad experience like that.
Well, you could take all those customer service representatives who are resetting passwords and have them follow up on the CSAT surveys. But even then, I mean, I think the reason why you don't get a follow-up is because it's too hard. They don't have enough resources. And the same thing that is doing the survey is a separate system than the rest of their stuff.
So it's a separate company. Yeah.
Or it's not going into their CRM. And this is where the agentic stuff is really amazing. And where you can this perfect loop, and we talk about our like flywheel of like human and AI together, is you have all these conversations, whether it's with an AI or with a human, and then we analyze them, and then you can take that and automate it. So you could take it and say, okay, for everyone who has an issue with this thing, we can actually make it automatically sync that to the CRM. We can automatically have it do a follow-up email to them saying, hey, we heard about your issue. We'd love to hear more. And or here's an update. You could even look in your existing roadmap and say, oh, we have this thing coming. I can let customers know that their biggest complaint is going to be solved soon. And here, subscribe to this for updates. These are all things you can do with this new wave and the stuff we've built with agentic AI, is you can take action on that stuff. And I'm also surprised you do the surveys, because in our numbers, it's about 5% of all people even fill out the surveys. That's why we built the AI CSAT model. That's our own proprietary model. Because who also fills out the surveys? People who are unhappy, which is very important. But you don't get the people who are happy feedback. You don't get, and that's also important. Like, what do people love about your company, your product? And like that's the coolest thing we've done with the CSAT stuff is it automatically tells you like, hey, here's what people are happy and unhappy about, and then you can connect it to this AI that can even automate the reach out to you. And then the coolest thing we have, like we're working on, is we have all these conversations, like billions. We have billions and billions of minutes of conversations of like black box. Like no one knows what's going on. The customers don't. So what we do is we analyze all of them, and we can tell you, hey, we know that you are doing this repetitively over and over and over again with your human agents. We can automate that for you. Like let's just automate that, so then they can actually reach out to you and talk to you as a really important customer who's about to churn.
Yeah.
And have a human conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of envision this world where, 85% of the, and you would know the numbers better than me, but a majority of the basic interactions are automated. And then the remaining ones are, really high-end humans that, kind of a concierge, right? That make you feel appreciated, that help you solve problems, that are, empathetic. I mean, there's this story from years ago. I don't even know who it was. I think it was a mattress company or something where, the guy ended up in a legal battle and is upset or whatever. And finally, some executive, calls him after like a year and a half of going round and round and round, calls him up and says, "What can I do for you?" And he goes, "I just wanted someone to apologize." He didn't even want compensation. Yeah. He just wanted validation,
Yeah, the whole everything in business is relationships. I mean, you can all say these other things, but that is a form of relationship. If you had listened to that customer, you would have known, hey, I should pay attention to them. And they are a critical customer. And the problem is with all these legacy CX systems, you don't know anything. So you're operating blind and everyone's getting treated the same. You can't treat everyone the same. You got to have different escalation paths, and the escalation paths suck. Like that. Like you should have gotten moved to tier 3 faster, but you had to argue to get escalated to tier 3.
Because I always talk on the same phone. It should be automatic, right?
Yeah.
Or this is an important client, or this is a pain in the neck.
Yeah, the whole thing's frustrating. That's why we got into this. This is why we built Dialpad. This was all broken, and we knew it had to be one thing. We knew it had to be AI focused. We've been doing AI for 7 years, and we knew the future of communications was AI, so we invested a ton in it.
So as we've kind of talked about, right, there's a lot of exciting things happening, but there's also a lot of hype in the AI space, right? So what's the biggest challenge you see, with customers trying to implement it, and what's your advice for getting an ROI?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much vaporware. I think when ChatGPT came out, I could go to any software company's site and see AI listed on it. And they just quickly threw a ChatGPT wrapper on something and put a little Copilot in and say they have AI. I can't. There's so much AI fake news right now. This is the thing I talk to a lot of CIOs. I talk to a lot of people in the business, and it's so hard to navigate. The only thing we can say, because you can't literally trust anyone saying anything in marketing, is you have to get real demos. You have to get real proof of concepts. One of the things that's really helped us win a lot of deals is we'll do demos. We don't just do a deck. We'll show real demos with a real live. And I don't mean a video. We'll actually do live, show you how the product works, show you how the AI works in real time. We'll let them test out our AI agents to see how they work. We'll show them our real, how we use it. So I think the best advice I have for people is you can't just sign a contract because of a presentation. You got to really get real examples, demos, and you a lot of times need to try it yourself. And because it's just, you don't know until you sometimes implement it. It sounds fancy. There's, I don't want to call it anyway, but there's some big companies, not our competitors even, but it's, they've got, agents, and here's more agents. And it's I don't know anyone using them successfully.
Yeah.
but their marketing seems to say that it's really
Bots for
successful.
the sake of bots, I call it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I it's really just get real demos. Make sure you see how it works for your use cases, because the ROI is going to be super obvious. That's the best part. Like it's not like one of those things where you're like, oh, let me do a bunch of it now. Like no, like you will understand almost immediately on how the automation will, how reduce hold times, how you get insights that you never had before and now can do something about that. Like you'll get real stuff if the people are doing their AI right, because there's only so many like co-pilots you can have that just don't really do much. It's
Yeah.
like it's every product has like a sidebar.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Really great. Well, Brian's going to stick around for headlines, so let's jump into that. So, Brian, obviously, the big one this week was the AWS outage. That affect you guys at all, or no?
No, it did not. We came out of Google, so we've been mostly a Google Cloud shop, which has done really well for us.
It still amazes me. So in case you were living under a rock, there was apparently a DNS error with an update to a database. Mostly affected the Virginia data center, AWS data center. Took out Amazon services like Ring, Alexa, but also other platforms that are on the service, right? Snapchat, Reddit, Venmo, Robinhood, Lloyd's Bank, HBO. Early estimates says it may have cost about $75 million per hour because of the outage. And the amazing part to me is that they're estimating that AWS represents about a third of the internet cloud services. And like the CrowdStrike thing last year, it seems like it was a bad update. Like, how does this still happen in 2025?
Yeah, I follow this a lot. It's because I mean humans are still involved with a lot of this stuff. They have so many checks and balances. There's so much it's so complicated that for every outage you also don't see the like thousands and thousands they've prevented. Um, it it is tough. I mean, the age of the internet. But for the most part, this is noticed more because it is such a big company and so many people use it. But to their credit, if I bet, and I tweeted this, I bet that if people weren't using AWS, they'd have more outages, but you wouldn't hear about it because it wouldn't be all at once.
Yeah.
It'd be spread out for everyone separately. So if you actually calculate your downtime, I bet no one's going to do it. But you notice it because when they do have an issue, everyone, a third of the internet is down. And it also exposed a lot of the companies using it weren't doing multi-region, which is kind of a no-no. You're supposed to, not usually host in any cloud region. But a lot, even that it's difficult, and not everyone has, the ability to do multi-region and stuff. But it's hard. People have that happens all the time with like the CrowdStrike thing too.
It's a great point you make. I call it airplane crash theory, right? Everybody thinks they're scared to fly because it's in the news if a plane crashes, but the reality is every car accident isn't in the news, so people get nervous.
Yeah, it's totally that. I mean, people are saying we got to get off. People shouldn't rely on AWS. I was like, what are you going to rely on instead? The thing you maintain yourself? What do you think? Who do you think is going to do a better job, like Google and Amazon? With a million experts, or your company trying to do cloud? So, but it does suck. I mean, it's unfortunate for sure.
Last week we talked about the H-1B visa fees going up to $100,000 and its effect on the outsourcing industry and just the tech workforce. Some clarification came out this week that it's not going to apply to student visa holders. And there's some other kind of clarifications coming out according to Bloomberg. But that said, a bunch of big firms are saying they're going to stop hiring over the fee. I'm not sure this affects you, Brian, but the tech space as a whole as you know, has relied a lot on this visa program for a long time.
Yeah, they said so. It's definitely. I think they went back and forth. I thought so. It is 100,000.
It's 100,000, but not on renewals, only for new ones. And now
Oh,
they're
that's right.
clarifying
That's
and
what they
saying it's
changed.
not going to
Okay.
be, if you're here on a student visa and you're going to convert that into a H-1B, you won't have to pay the fee. That was the
Yeah, and I think
clarification, right?
people thought maybe it was going to be recurring. Maybe it's
Right,
one time.
one time,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd say most of the people hiring on H-1Bs have so much money they don't care about $100,000. And most of the time, you're not hiring um, these people to save money. Anyways, you're hiring them because they're good. So most of the people, there's $100,000 one-time fee. I just don't see it affecting most of the big companies. And the smaller companies, yes, possibly. I'm not an expert on all this, but I know at least in my tech world, I don't expect it to be affecting much because they just have so much money, and they're mostly hiring them for talent, not because money wasn't really the issue because they have so much of it.
Yeah, what I said last week was, the bigger issue, if you want to call it that, if the policy desire is to create more American jobs, I don't know that this does that. Like it just pushes more remote work. I mean, how do you stop remote work, right?
Well, that's exactly what it does, and it's already with the technology to communicate worldwide in real time and like what we're using right now. I mean, companies have already figured out during COVID how to do amazing remote work. So it will just mean now you don't have people here spending money here who are now supporting jobs in the country because they're spending here by doing that. They're not here now. They're spending because these people have a lot of money and they get paid well.
Yeah.
So they put their money back into the American economy. So I agree with you, and I think it's it's I totally see that happening. They're just gonna go remote, and also the back to like H-1Bs were it was the reason why we needed them was because we had a lack of qualified people. And I know
Right.
that means maybe we'll have more qualified people, but it's hard because we have to change a lot of things to get there, like the education system and so it's not like it's magic.
What's your sense of you mentioned education. What's your sense of the graduating class in the US? I mean, for a while, a lot of the companies on our network were telling us they just couldn't hire out of the US because there wasn't the skill sets.
Yeah, I mean, I just again maybe in tech, there's plenty of the skill sets in tech. I'm not sure about every industry. We do hear a lot about the job market's not great for new hires, for new college grads, because they claim, oh well, AI is gonna doing a lot of their job, and I don't believe it. I think a lot of it is just the economy and people follow the leader, and so when all these big businesses and the S&P 500 start doing things everyone follows, I think it's more of an economy thing than it is a no one wants to hire these new college grads because they're not skilled enough. I think they have their own benefits. The new college grads in any industry, literally any industry, not even tech, are actually sometimes the most skilled right now because they have just used Chat GPT for the last 4 years and every single AI
Great
tool they can
papers
find to do their college work. And they are super qualified to figure out how to go into a company and be like, hey, I know how to bake this faster or better or automate this because they've figured out every single way to take advantage of it for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's what we're finding. We're hiring a lot of new college grads who are the best at AI. And we put them a lot on like AI transformation stuff at our company because they're experts at it at this point. They might have used it to cheat on some things, maybe.
Yeah, but it's like that whole thing. Like they used to hire hackers to test vulnerability, right? I mean, you want to see where the
Everyone's an
opportunities
AI
are,
hacker now, and you kind of want them at your company.
right? Yeah, I think I think you're right. I mean, a lot of these jobs numbers, unemployment numbers, I think they're oversimplified a bit because it really depends on I think we're in a very niche, very segmented market. And these general numbers, I don't think tell the whole story. I mean, Amazon just came out in the news. New York Times is reporting that they're going to eliminate 600,000 jobs over the next what's the time period here, but until 2027, based on robots. But these are physical robots, right? Automation, physical automation. Over the next 8 years, over 600,000 human workers over the next 8 years. 160,000 people that were planned to be hired in the next 2 years. They're going to kind of forego onboarding them, but they're the second largest employer in the U.S. So that's a significant change, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I can see it being scary. I can see it being no one knows what's going to happen next with jobs. I think I'm always in the positive side of things, that like Jurassic Park, life finds a way, like jobs find a way. Like every single technology innovation in time has created more jobs, just different ones. I don't know what those are going to be though, but I usually bet on humans evolve too. And maybe humans shouldn't be like in that image packing packages with their amazing brains. Maybe there's new jobs that, again, now you have all these people who have to support these robots. Where are they going to come from? Like the robots can't really fix themselves for a very, very long time. So now maybe there's just, again, I just think it's going to create new jobs. I don't believe in doomsday like job scenarios, but worst case scenario, if it does happen, well, hey, we'll all probably have a pretty good life, they say, because no one will have a job, and we'll just have, but there'll be no disease and no hunger, and maybe it'll be better.
Yeah, I always thought about that, the quality of the work, right? I mean, do you really want to do that kind of? I got some heat last year. We were promoting a conversational AI sales tool, like a AI SDR, and people are like, you're taking sales jobs. I'm like, all it is doing the work that nobody wants to do. Do you really want to send 800 emails a day to people that don't want to get your email and who are going to, probably not respond? And if they do, tell you to leave them alone. Like, that's not good work. That's not a fun job.
Yeah, no, I mean, and like plug for Dialpad, but we see, like, we kind of forget about it. It's not always just AI or human. Like, we're seeing what happens. It starts with AI, then it goes to a human, then maybe it goes back to an AI, then it goes back to like, and now everything's better for everyone. Just it's same thing with sales. Like, even automation's the stuff of like, why do the same email 1,000 times? Like, someone should be able to do that. Why qualify them with the same questions that AI could do? Like, it's going to free people up to just do better work, and innovation's just going to go faster. It's like with the cloud. Like, cloud meant not fewer jobs, it just meant more companies, because you could start more and more innovation, which then meant more jobs. So that's what I usually lean toward, being on the positive side, that usually, like, jobs find a way. Throughout the history of humans, we always find something people want to pay us for.
Love it. Well, Brian, thank you so much for joining us, and thanks everyone for joining us on the Digital Leaders Show. We'll be back Wednesday at noon, 9 Eastern. In the meantime, if there's anything that you're working on, you need help with, we've got a team of experts and analysts here to help you. Go to urpaai.org for more information. In the meantime, have a great week, everybody. Brian, thanks again.
Thanks, Dan. It's fun.